All right. Hey guys, this is Dr. Brent DeLong, and we are doing the Beyond the Z's Align Your Internal Clock webinar. This is all about sleep, and who doesn't like a good night's sleep? I know I do. It is incredibly important for my daily activities and to just be the best I can be. And this seminar was great to study for. Currently, I have two 17-month-olds. So we have twins, and they still get up at night. And so going through this seminar and really learning about the importance of sleep was eye-opening. It really kind of sparked me to really work on trying to improve some of the quality that I am currently trying to achieve. So this was a great, even just webinar topic for me too. So, but I'm going to jump right into it here. So if you're new to our office, so my name is Dr. Brent DeLong. I'm a Max Living chiropractor. I've been in practice for going on almost 14 years. My wife, Dr. Jill, she is a kind of the co-founder of the office, and she is a pediatric prenatal specialist in chiropractic. And so we just have this incredible practice. We've been able to serve tens of thousands of patients over the last almost 14 years now. And going through and doing these seminars and webinars is some of the most exciting parts of our practice, because this is where we really get to share with our patients, like how to improve like overall quality of their life and how to implement the Max Living 5 Essentials to not just feel better, but to actually get better. This is really where health restoration comes from. So I'm excited that you are taking the time to learn about how to improve the quality of your sleep. So but our purpose is really to empower our entire community, our patients, to just take charge of their health and not just become victim to the current like medical system where it's very reactive. And so we want to help empower you to understand how to build health, how to raise healthy families. Now, 50 to 70 million Americans have sleep disorders. Not just sleep problems, but sleep disorders. I imagine that number is significantly higher as far as people that just don't sleep well. And so that currently, so 50 to 70 million, if this is an adult population, that's almost 30% that have sleep disorders. So this is a huge deal, especially when you look at how important sleep is. Sleep is when we do all of our like regeneration, like our restorative processes, when our body heals when we sleep, our cellular regeneration. This is where our body regulates stress hormone. This is when our body regulates immune system. This is when our body regenerates. And so if you're having poor sleep or very little sleep, then just know that your immune system is suffering, your body is breaking down faster, you're accelerating the degenerative or the aging process. So it's not just being tired, it's literally your physiology is suffering if you're not getting good quality of sleep. So here are some signs that you need better sleep. Blood pressure starts to increase. So if you have high blood pressure, that's a really good sign that your body's not regenerating. You're unable to focus or remember. One of the most important parts about sleep is that it allows short-term memory to turn into long-term memory. So if you feel like you're having issues with your memory, it could be because you have really bad sleep. Again, like even like mental focus, like mental acuity, it really, really suffers if you're not sleeping very well. You get frequent colds or coughs. So again, your immune system is weak. If you tend to sleep in on the weekends, again, your body's craving that extra sleep. That's a sign of poor quality of sleep. You have blood sugar issues. You can't seem to shed those extra points. That's supposed to say pounds. If you're having a hard time like shedding extra pounds, if you have weight gain resistance issues or weight loss resistance issues, I would say. If you feel like you have to consume a lot of caffeine throughout the day just to stay going, that's a sign of your poor sleep. And the idea that you feel like you have to constantly hit your snooze button, that's a bad sign. And then obviously if you're really irritable, if you're moody, if you have a short fuse, that means that you really need to focus on sleep. So if you suffer from any of these, or if you know anybody who suffers from those, if it's a spouse, if it's a family member, just know that this webinar is going to be important for them to know and to start to implement some of the strategies that we're going to talk about. So here's some of the major disease processes that are going to be in like more dominant if you have sleep issues. So heart disease, diabetes, blood pressure issues, stroke, obesity, all of these are really going to be promoted if you have poor quality of sleep. this was very interesting, and it talks about sleep. And I wanted to share this quick video with you guys. Let me see if I can pull this over. And then I'm going to start this.
Bad news for all of us insomniacs out here, but as we do more research into the brain, we're increasingly realizing that sleep is one of the most essential things we need to be functioning, healthy human beings. And new research looks into how sleep helps us maintain clean brains. But what does that mean? And why is that important? Well, to understand this latest news, we have to go back to 2013, when a study of mouse brains found that while those furry little rodents slept, neurotoxic waste products got swept away. Some kind of cleaning crew comes in overnight and gets rid of built-up stuff like beta amyloid, that sticky peptide that can aggregate into plaques and disrupt brain function. Amyloid plaques are highly associated with the occurrence of diseases like Alzheimer's, and the amyloid hypothesis suggests that amyloid plaques could be the primary cause of that devastating disease. So it's real nice that your brain can get rid of it while you sleep. That 2013 study saw an interesting relationship. While the mice slept, their lymphatic systems opened up. This let in a big wash of cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, which seemed to clear these waste products away. And just so you know, CSF is a watery, clear substance that surrounds your brain and spinal cord and acts kind of like a little cushion to protect your brain and provide it with nutrients. A team at Boston University took this 2013 finding and wanted to know exactly how. In this new study they published in Science, the researchers delved into what about sleep was so special. Why did a sleep state in particular allow for these changes in the brain? The team got human participants to fall asleep inside an fMRI machine, which seems like quite a feat in itself, and which let the team measure both the blood oxygen levels in the participants' brains and show the flux of cerebrospinal fluid. They also measured the electrical currents in subjects' brains using an EEG cap. The results gave the team a pretty clear answer, one that came in waves. We've been finding out more over the past several years about the phases our brains go through while we sleep, and how those phases are essential to information processing and memory formation. And it turns out it's not just during rapid eye movement sleep or REM sleep that our brains are consolidating information and committing it to our long-term memory, but they're doing it during non-REM sleep too. And in humans, these two states of sleep, REM and non-REM, alternate throughout the night. Non-REM sleep is divided into 3 stages, and that third stage is our deepest state of sleep, called slow-wave sleep. During slow-wave sleep, electrical activity slows down and syncs up. So our neurons start to fire in sync with one another at quite a slow frequency that neuroscientists call delta waves. And while slow-wave sleep has been shown to be essential to memory formation, this latest study is the first to demonstrate exactly how those slow waves keep our brains clean and healthy. From all of their many measurements, the Boston team saw that during slow-wave sleep, the brain was actually being washed by waves of cerebrospinal fluid, like a little free nighttime spa for your brain. See, when neurons start to fire in sync, they're all electrically active at the same time, and that means there's empty time in between activity. When those neurons aren't firing, they need less oxygen, so less blood is flowing to the brain, but cerebrospinal fluid comes in and fills in that extra space. So this pattern in CSF flow is intrinsically linked to neuron firing. The neurons light up, the neurons go dark, the CSF comes in, the CSF goes out. It's all very relaxing. This study not only found a direct relationship between electrical activity in the brain and this CSF cleansing mechanism, but also confirmed that an increase in CSF is linked to an increased clearing of neurotoxic waste products like beta amyloid. This indicates that sleep, and slow-wave sleep in particular, is essential to clearing out all the gunk in your brain garbage, if you will. And the thing is, we still don't understand a whole lot about neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. We know that we see these buildups of amyloid plaques. We know that a protein called tau causes damage to neurons, but so far, our forays into developing treatments that target those variables haven't been very fruitful. So improved understanding, like this new study provides of how the brain clears out toxic buildup naturally, could help us combat neurodegenerative diseases in novel and innovative ways. Plus, it's just a huge inspiration to get better sleep, and more of it. I'm gonna get right on that. If you wanna learn more about Alzheimer's, check out this video here from our series Sick, and make sure you subscribe to Seeker for all of your neuroscience updates. That you want us to cover, let us know down in the comments.
Okay, so I thought that was really interesting how sleep is critical to make sure that it's like cleansing your brain and detoxifying your brain. So a lack of sleep will really increase risks of things like dementia and Alzheimer's. So anyway, I thought that was really, I know that was kind of scientific, and I know that she was speaking quickly. That's the speed I watch videos at, as at 1.5, just to go through things quicker. But anyway, I thought that was really interesting. If that was if that was interesting or maybe kind of over your head, I just thought that was really cool. But it just reiterates the importance of sleep and some of the stuff that happens while you sleep. Now, I will say this, that CSF flow that kind of bathes the brain and rinses the brain, one of the biggest things that can interfere with that flow is if there are misalignments in the spine or fixations in the spine. So if your spine's not moving very well because there's a subluxation or a misalignment, that can affect a lot of the flow, the CSF flow in the brain. So it could create some stagnation in there. And so getting adjusted removes that fixation to allow that to flow. But one of the best things you can do to pump nutrients in through the brain like that is your wobble exercise. So anyway, I just want to kind of hit on that. I thought that was really, really cool. But what causes sleep issues? So it's stresses, and there's different kinds of stresses, and we're going to go through these things. But it's just one of those things. We live in a world that's just constantly bombarded by just stresses. And so we have to identify where these stresses are coming from and try to eliminate some. But the other part of it is just trying to improve our body's ability to handle stress. But understanding that poor sleep or a lack of sleep is just a warning sign. So if you have trouble falling asleep, if you have trouble staying asleep, if your just sleep quality is really poor, you know, in one sense, you might think that you need to treat that, like you need to take things to be able to sleep better, but just understand that you're treating a symptom. It's like pain. If your back hurts and you're taking a pain pill, yes, the pain might go away, but it's not addressing why the pain is there. Remember, the pain is a warning sign. So poor sleep is just a warning sign that your body is not handling stress very well, that there's some sort of interference or there's damage or there's an underlying problem. And if you're taking pills or things to treat your sleep, you're really just covering up that check engine light while the engine underneath is getting destroyed. And that's how so many people build disease so quickly in this current medical approach of treating symptoms, because there's no focus on underlying causes. So one of the biggest issues that you need to really focus on is the understanding of your sympathetic versus your parasympathetic nervous system. Remember, your nervous system is what regulates every bit of our physiology. If your nervous system is out of balance, it's going to be a huge impact on your ability to sleep. And this is what we mean. Your sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system is the two sides of your autonomic nervous system, which your autonomic, think of like automatic. It is the things that you don't do consciously, like moving your hands. Like that's not your autonomic nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system is like your heart rate, your respiratory rate, your immune function. It's the 30 trillion chemical reactions happening in your body without you thinking about it, like your digestion, your absorption. It's the cellular function. So your nerve system is what regulates that. The sympathetic part of that nerve system is the fight or flight. That's the nerve system that like gets you up and gets you going. That's the nerve system that, you know, that allows you to handle stressful events. Like the examples, like if you're getting chased by a bear, you know, you're not worried about your immune system. You're worried about pumping blood and energy to the muscles so you can run away from the bear. The parasympathetic nervous system is the nerve system that is dominant when you're in this rest phase. It's the relaxation phase. It is the phase of the nervous system that controls healing and digestion and repair. It's when there's no stress, and that's the nerve system that should be dominant when you're sleeping. The problem is that so many people are so stressed out and their nerve system is so out of balance. It's that they're constantly in this sympathetic fight or flight mode, even when they're supposed to be in a parasympathetic mode. And so their body never fully gets to that rest state. So focusing on balancing that nerve system is critical. And we're going to talk about some of the things that we need to do that. But just so you know, if you're stuck in a sympathetic dominant state, then you're going to get very, very poor sleep. Your body's not going to repair. Your immune system's not going to be able to be fighting off invasions and to fighting off things like cancer. And so just so you know, if you're stuck in a sympathetic nerve system, your body is building disease. So let's talk about some of the three main ways that we can fix sleep. Number one, it's move your body and eat right. A lack of movement, a sedentary lifestyle is going to be a surefire way to create poor sleep. If you're not getting enough activity, your body is not going to be able to get to that rest phase. another thing, if you're eating a standard American diet, your body is constantly being bombarded by poor quality foods, by preservatives, by toxins. And so your body's, especially like your immune, and I talked about this in the cancer seminar, the battle ready is if your immune system's constantly in the repair mode because you're constantly fighting the damage you're creating, then it can't heal from other things. And so if you're constantly eating poor quality foods, your body is not going to be in a point where it can rest. So the first thing that I'd recommend is really starting to focus on changing your nutrition. Start following either the advanced plan, which is going to be a really good anti-inflammatory, more of a healing style nutrition protocol, or just a max living core plan. And that's just a whole food approach to good nutrition for the whole family. But if you have symptomatology, like we talked about before, like blood pressure issues, cholesterol issues, if you have like true sleep problems, then I would highly recommend that you move more toward the advanced plan. If you have real specific questions about what that nutrition plan looks like, go back to some of my other videos, or we have some resources in the office. But again, it's just, you have to increase your healthy fats. You have to make sure you're getting better quality of proteins, and you really do need to eliminate a lot of the processed carbs or sugars, things that are going to increase your inflammation. So again, it's really focused on healthy fats, good quality proteins, and really minimizing any sort of inflammatory foods. Processed carbohydrates, lots of sugars, bad oils, that's a big deal. You got to make sure you're reducing the inflammation so your body can move into that state of rest, so it's not constantly trying to heal from the damage you're causing. And then movement is critical. So some people will say exercise in the morning, some people say exercise in the afternoon. The one thing that is a consensus is it's not necessarily a great idea to exercise in the evenings. If you have to, that's better than nothing. But when it comes to really improving sleep quality, it's not necessarily a good idea to exercise kind of later in the afternoon or evening. So if you can do some morning stuff, that's really good. If you're really early morning, I don't know, there's some consensus out there that if you exercise very early, like a 5 a.m. workout, that it can tend to cause you to be a little bit more tired in the afternoon. I will say, though, if you do start working out really early in the morning, it's very easy to want to go to bed early. So if you're a night owl and you're trying to shift that to go to bed early so you can have more quantity of sleep, if you exercise like first thing in the morning, like 5 a.m., you will want to be in bed and going to sleep pretty early. So, but I would say for performance wise, if you exercise in the mid or early part of the day, that's the kind of in my opinion, that's the best case scenario. And again, it can be as little as 10 minutes, but the research shows if you're getting 150 minutes a week to moderate to extreme exercise, then you're doing really well. I will say this though, if you recognize that you are in a sympathetic dominant state pretty often, so if you're pretty often stressed to the max, I would probably avoid some of the high intensity exercises that I talk about in like the metabolic seminars. So if you are constantly stressed out, I would probably recommend doing more of a moderate style exercise. So walks, light runs, some easy movement, even weightlifting if it's not at an extreme pace. Those are all really good exercises. If you're versus high intensity, short duration, like metabolic conditioning, surge training, burst training, those sort of things, your body won't have enough time to recover if you're not sleeping very good. So I was talking to one of my athletes the other day, and I was kind of promoting this, why they should watch the sleep seminar. And I was saying this: the most important part of exercise, minus doing the exercise itself, is the recovery. And if you're not having good quality sleep, your body is not able to recover from the exercise. And so if you're not getting good quality sleep and you're consistently working out or exercising, you could be setting yourself up for failure, or you might not just be getting the most out of your exercise. So if you're super stressed out and you're doing these high intense, short duration exercises and you're not getting great sleep, your body's not recovering and you're just burning yourself out. So it's actually adding to your sympathetic dominant state. So I would highly recommend kind of shifting your exercise into more of a lighter type of program. So number 2, and this is really important. I would like to spend some good time because this is just some good takeaways, but it's master your routines. So prepare for the day. So morning routine. So good quality sleep, in my opinion, really starts with first thing in the morning. So let's talk about what to do. And I'm going to really kind of lay out a recommendation, almost like a weekly challenge, like a checklist. Like if you can do these things to improve your quality of sleep sort of challenge. So if you're someone who really wants to try to do an experiment and see how good you can feel, how good your health can get, if you want to focus on your sleep. So I'm going to give a checklist of different things you can try to check off throughout the day to really improve your quality of sleep. So here's the morning routine part of it: is try to wake up plus or minus an hour the same time every day. So one of the worst things you can do is wake up really early during the week and then sleep real late in the weekend. You're just messing up your circadian rhythm. In the morning, warming up your body temperature is really good to get you awake and get you alert. So one of the best ways to warm up body temperature is cold exposure. So the easiest way to do that is if you take a shower in the morning, for the last 60 seconds, 30 seconds, is just crank that baby to cold and just suck it up for 30 seconds, 60 seconds. So cold exposure will actually increase your internal temperature. So I put movement on here, and I don't necessarily mean like exercise, but I mean movement. And I'll walk you through some good like morning movement routines. I'll make a separate video of like what I'd like to do as far as like morning mobility work. And it's really just to get the blood flowing and to get your body ready for movement of the day. Plus, it's really good for joint health. It's going to keep you mobile. It's going to keep you feeling young. And then reflect and plan your day. One of the most important things, every single coach I've ever had, they always talk about morning routines, planning your day, making sure you're getting ready so that way your day happens on purpose. So you're getting on paper or in your mind or in your planner, hey, these are the most important things. If I get these things done today, it is a successful day. So if you plan your day and execute that, you're just a much, much better day. So if you fail to plan, your plan will fail. Okay. This is critically important, is to get morning sunshine. So if you can, getting out and doing like a morning walk, sun exposure on your face, in your eyes. In fact, if you can look at the sun or toward the sun, especially in the morning, you're getting a lot of vitamin D absorption. You're getting there's certain sun rays that you're getting infrared in the morning. So versus like UV light, maybe higher in the afternoon. So if someone is worried about like UV light exposure, you're not getting that as much in the morning. So it's really, really good for your eyes and for your skin to get good sunshine. It helps to set your internal clock. So if you get that morning exposure, it really helps to influence a lot of the hormones like melatonin that are going to improve your sleep quality or make it easier to go to sleep. So if you're having a hard time maybe going to sleep at night or getting tired, get up in the morning, get some good sunshine. If you can, do a morning walk. Now, on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I see patients starting at 8, so I'm here by 7. And in the wintertime, it's dark. I get to the office and it's dark, so I do not get morning sunshine. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, Sundays, I make it a high priority to make sure I'm getting that. So it doesn't have to be every day, but you want to try and get as much as you can. So morning sunshine is critical for vitamin D exposure, getting that UV light, and resetting your circadian rhythm. So kind of, again, talking about why the rooster crows in the morning, it's the circadian rhythm. You're trying to get your internal clock set to being able to wake up in the day and then be able to go to bed at night. So if you have like a swing shift where you have to like work night swings or something like that, there's some additional things you can do to kind of reset your circadian rhythm. So your body temperature is the lowest 2 hours before you wake up. And so as your body temperature, and I'll go through this in your evening routine where you want to actually lower your body temperature so your body goes to sleep. In the morning, your body temperature naturally rises, but you peak at your lowest body temperature 2 hours before you wake up. So before it starts to rise again, your body temperature to where like it's an internal alarm clock, that increased body temperature at your lowest. If you can, if you're trying to change when your circadian rhythm, so if you're trying to wake up later in the day, so if you're trying to really push yourself to sleep in, if you get up at that point in time, say like 3 o'clock, so 2 hours before your lowest peak, if you get up and expose yourself to sun, like to bright light or to have some caffeine, it'll push back that circadian rhythm. So you can do things to change it, but ideally morning sun will really help you to get your circadian rhythm to where it's ready to go to bed at night. So this is important, and this is really good for your using caffeine as a tool. So you want to really limit your caffeine 90 minutes, an hour to 90 minutes, or maybe even 120 minutes after waking. So if you wake up at 5 o'clock, you really don't want to do caffeine before 6 or 7. And here's the reason why. You have a hormone called adenosine. And when it builds up, it makes you sleepy. When it goes down, then you become more wakeful. This is why caffeine works so good, because it's an antagonist. But if you're drinking caffeine before that hormone depletes itself out of your system, you delay when it comes out of your system. So if you drink coffee right in the morning, then you extend when that hormone is able to come out of your system. And that's what really creates a lot of this afternoon crash. So if you're drinking caffeine before that hormone is completely out of your system, then you delay when it leaves. So when the caffeine wears off, you get this like afternoon crash. So if you can limit your caffeine for an hour or 2 hours after waking, you'll really eliminate a lot of that afternoon crash. Plus, you're able to use caffeine as a tool. If you drink caffeine too early in the morning, it doesn't really work that well. It doesn't energize you. So if you can wait a little while, caffeine will actually be more effective. You'll feel it. You'll have more energy. You'll be able to use it as an actual working tool, versus if you do it first thing in the morning, it doesn't really have that much of an impact because you have all that adenosine hormone in your system. And so it's not necessarily a great idea to have caffeine. Now, I would maybe even, if you're having a hard time sleeping, I might try to even eliminate caffeine altogether, or at least do not do caffeine past noon or 2 o'clock. Okay. So now I'm going to talk about like nighttime routine. So you had your morning routine, which we talked about. So waking up at the same time, increasing your body temperature, maybe some cold exposure, movement. These are all things that wake you up. Okay. And then eliminating your caffeine for 90 minutes. So here's our nighttime routine. This is when we want to really set the mood. So 2 hours before bed, I want you to start dimming the lights. Bright lights really can activate a lot of this like alertness, and it really eliminates some of the melatonin or the sleep type hormones. So if you're exposing yourself to bright light up until like 9 o'clock, it's going to really limit like your body's ability to like fall asleep. If you are going to be on screens, I'm really going to recommend blue light glasses, and they just eliminate some of the blue light, which again really messes with your hormones like melatonin, so that again your body's not producing it, so you're not getting that like nighttime fall asleep hormone part of it. So it's really screwing with your circadian rhythm if you have bright lights or if you're doing a lot of screen time. So if you're doing screen time, blue light glasses, or you can have a filter on your phone. So here's my phone, and I have this filter set to where I can change it to this red light. And so this really does save like my phone from messing with my hormones. So again, it doesn't mess with my circadian rhythm. And so you can go into some settings and you can go through that. I'll maybe figure out how I did that and post on the video. But so you can do screen filters or blue light glasses. Another really good thing I'm going to recommend with your evening routine is exposure to the sunset. Just like it's important to expose yourself to the morning sun, exposing yourself to evening sun, especially like in your eyes, you're going to be influencing that circadian rhythm. So it's going to start to tell your internal clock, okay, so it's time to start moving toward bed. Turning off distractions, keeping it quiet, slow down, read a book maybe. You want to eliminate things that are going to increase your like stress levels. So like maybe don't watch the news at night, okay? You don't want to do things that are going to fire you up at night. Lowering your body temperature is critical. Technically, it's very difficult to fall asleep unless you lower your internal body temperature about 1 degree. So you can do that with a warm bath or a hot shower, or it's really important to maybe even just lower the temperature in your room. And another really big thing is to make sure you're eliminating all sources of light. If you're having hard times with sleep, blacking out your room and sleeping in a cold, dark cave is one of the best things you can do to improve your sleep quality. And then make it a routine, like try to go to sleep at the same time, try to wake up at the same time. If you're like going up and down with when you go to sleep and when you wake up, it's very hard for your internal clock to like get a timer. And so again, it's going to really ruin a lot of the quality of sleep. So poor nighttime practices equal poor sleep. Staying up late, watching lots of screens, things like this. Those are things that are going to really create poor quality of sleep. So some things that you want to maybe even eliminate too is eliminating food an hour to 2 hours before bed, but especially the like late night snacks, refined carbohydrates, sugar, sweets, juices, anything that's going to increase your insulin, because by increasing your insulin, like having a big insulin spike before you go to bed is going to lead to a blood sugar crash. And if that happens in the middle of the night, you're so likely to either have really poor quality of sleep or it's going to wake you up. Limit alcohol. This is kind of important too, how alcohol affects your metabolism, and especially when it comes to like your blood sugar levels. So almost think of sugar like alcohol because your body breaks it down. It really does create a poor quality of sleep. Sometimes alcohol can make you like feel like you can go to sleep easier, like your nightcap, but going to sleep easier isn't always a good solution to better quality of sleep. So when you're using tools like external tools to induce sleep, whether it's CBD, THC, medications, alcohol, again, it might help you go to sleep, but it doesn't really improve your overall quality of sleep. And so then the next night it's hard to go to sleep. So you're building this kind of problem where your body is so tired that, again, it's hard to fall asleep because you're doing these things to influence, bad health choices. So really, again, part of this challenge is going to be eliminate alcohol 2 hours before bed. So try to not have an alcoholic beverage 2 hours before you go to sleep to improve your quality of sleep. Now, doing something to relax, like a nighttime routine to create relaxation, is really important. So we know this, especially when it comes to kids, like everybody has like a baby routine. So, you start your nighttime routine to get their body to wind down and to know that, okay, so it's going to be time for sleep. So, you do a bath, which a warm shower or warm bath will actually decrease your body's temperature, just like a cold exposure will increase your body's temperature. So it's kind of like a riding reflex. If the external temperature is high, your body internal temperature will try to combat that. So you get this like even keel. It's trying to self-regulate. So, you're trying to relax with a shower or a bath. I typically don't do this because I shower in the morning. So I don't typically do this at night. So other relaxing ways though, but if you're having a hard time going to sleep or you have poor quality of sleep, this is maybe something to try, is go relax, take a warm bath. Candles also have infrared. And so instead of bright light with UV or blue light with like fluorescent lights like this, if you use candles, it does help to actually improve the infrared light, which actually does help to induce rest and sleep, or even like red light therapy is really good too. Putting your phone down. If you do a lot of phone stuff at night, it really does mess with your hormones, especially like the anxiety stuff. Now, I do know some people who feel like they tend to run high with anxiety. Sometimes they need the phone to like turn their brain off, and it's like their time to like zone out. I totally get that. I think there are better ways to do it. And if that is you, where you feel like you really do need your phone to like zonk out and like get your mind like off of thinking of the thousands of things, like typically moms are like this because women tend to multitask way more than men. And so if you have 1,000 things that you're thinking about and you need to get your mind off of it, and you're doing stuff like playing games on your phone or whatever, or searching social media is pretty bad too, because you're getting that dopamine rush. It's really just bad. And I would really recommend, like, if you're going to try and improve your quality of sleep, do an experiment and just try to put your phone down. And we'll figure out some other alternatives. So another thing that you want to do maybe is remove your phone next to your bed, or at least put it on airplane mode. And the reason that is because EMFs will influence your vibration, and it can really create a lot of poor quality of sleep. So a lot of electronics near your head when you sleep is a really bad idea. So part of the challenge, if you're trying to improve your sleep, is to just either put your phone on airplane mode, or to just not put it next to your bed, like put it in a different room. But if you use it as an alarm, put it on airplane mode. I will say another thing that you can do that really is good for you and your family is to be able to turn your Wi-Fi off at night to reduce your EMF exposure. So EMFs are electromagnetic fields. And so just try it. Move your phone, maybe turn your Wi-Fi off at night. Again, this is for someone who wants to improve their quality of sleep. Again, do an experiment, try it off. And this is kind of a cool thing, but like every person I've ever heard of when it comes to improving quality of sleep is you want to make your bed in the morning. Okay. If nothing else goes right in your entire day, at least you're coming home to a made bed. So that's just a good thing to try. Consistent timing is important too. We talked about this a lot already, but somebody who has like the morning blues, the Monday morning blues, like, oh, I got a case of the Mondays. a lot of it is because you're sleeping in on the weekend, you're staying up too late on the weekend, you're sleeping in too late. So you're really messing up with that internal clock. So really try to stay as close to an hour plus or minus within your normal fall asleep and wake up times. Okay. So again, your body has a rhythm and you want to try and stay consistent with that timing. So here's some of the supplements that I'm really going to kind of talk about when it comes to improving sleep quality. Now, I talked a lot about things you can do just on your own that can help to improve quality of sleep. But if you're someone who might need an extra edge, or you just want to improve some of the just again, the improvement in the quality of sleep, this is the bundle that I'm going to talk about. Magnesium is amazing for helping with improving your quality of sleep. It's important for metabolic function. It's really good for neurological health. It helps with reducing muscle spasms, muscle cramps, restless leg syndrome, things like that. It's good to just allow your body to rest. If you have a deficiency in magnesium, you're really kind of stuck in that sympathetic dominant state. The sleep and mood formula, this is something that's been amazing implementing with some of my patients, especially patients who have really bad, poor quality sleep. I mean, I've had patients that have had poor sleep for years, even been prescribed Ambient, which is a really dangerous sleep medication. They start to implement the sleep and mood formula, and it changes their life. They're able to reduce or come off of that sleep medication. And it's a really good formulation. There's a couple things in there that are really cool. It has L5-hydroxytryptophan, which is a precursor to serotonin. So when you look at things like antidepressants with their serotonin reuptake inhibitors, so your body has a hard time with regulating serotonin. So it's a chemical imbalance. Now, most of your serotonin levels are created in your gut by the good bacteria. Your nerve system, especially the nerve system in the upper part of your neck, is what regulates your serotonin levels. So focusing on gut health and getting your nerve system free of interference, so making sure that that upper part of your neck is in alignment, is critical for regulating serotonin levels. But this is a precursor. So this L5-tryptophan is something that your body is going to be able to turn into serotonin. So you're not giving your body serotonin, because you don't want to give yourself exogenous hormones, because it really does screw up your hormones. So like taking melatonin is kind of dangerous. But this L5-tryptophan and tryptophan itself are precursors for things like serotonin. So your body is able to create serotonin, but it also helps to produce melatonin. That's one of the reasons why this is such a good supplement to not only help with mood stabilization, but to improve your sleep quality, because it has all these precursors in it. One of the things it has in it too is theanine, which is really good for helping your body get to that rest state. And so if you have any trouble sleeping, this is a supplement I'm going to highly recommend that you try out. And then the Max Greens, I'm including this because of all the pre and probiotics it has to improve gut health, which again will help produce serotonin, melatonin. It's also going to help with all the live enzymes. It's just going to improve. It's one of the most easy ways to improve your nutritional quality, so that again your body is not in this defense mode. So this is the specific sleep and slumber bundle that I put together. So anytime we do a bundle like this, anytime we do a seminar or a webinar, remember this is on sale. So it's 20% off in the office. So if you want to really try to improve your quality of sleep, get this bundle. It's 20% off, and really kind of test to see how much better you can feel if you have better quality of sleep. So this is a bundle I'm going to highly recommend. So removing interference and stresses. So let's talk about the sympathetic, parasympathetic nerve system, as well as the stresses. So obviously we know how bad stress is on the brain. So really I want you to focus on peace management versus trying to eliminate stress, because a lot of the stresses that you have, you can't get rid of. Unless you can quit your job, unless you can go hide in a cave somewhere where you have no external stresses, which your family won't like that very much. So again, you can't eliminate your stresses. Sometimes what we have to do is improve our body's ability to handle stress. That's one of the reasons why I like that supplement bundle so much, or why exercise is so important, or getting better nutrition, is because we're improving our body's ability, the health of our body and its ability to handle and self-regulate stresses. So real quick, I just kind of threw this in here to choose kind of the right sleep position. I get this a lot, like what's the best way to sleep? And to be honest, it's the best position to sleep in is the position that you can go to sleep in. Sleeping on your back and on your spinal molds is really good for your spine, but sometimes people have a hard time falling asleep in that position. especially if someone has sleep apnea. That's kind of a big deal. Sleeping on your back is sometimes really hard. So if you have sleep apnea, sometimes sleeping on your side is better because it helps to open the airways. If you're going to sleep on your side, I recommend like hugging a pillow or putting a pillow like in between your knees to help with like pelvic alignment. So you're not like stressing your hips and your lower back a ton while you sleep. But at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to sleep. There are better ways. Like sleeping in your stomach is pretty hard on your spine. Sometimes it can be good for your back, depending on what kind of subluxations or what kind of structure issues you have in your lower back. So at the end of the day, it's just whatever is most comfortable, whatever you can sleep in. But obviously I'm going to recommend, good spinal alignment while you sleep. And obviously like your pillow is important. There's not one pillow that's good, but you want a really good supportive pillow if you're on your side. If you're on your back, obviously you want a very thin pillow. If you're in your stomach, you want a very thin pillow. And then obviously like your spinal molds are really important, especially if you can handle that. So subluxations, interference on your brain and nerve system. So remember, subluxations are when you have some sort of structural misalignment that interferes with your nerve system's ability to communicate. Remember, all life energy comes from the brain. Every that's a control center. It's the master computer. So even for like your heart to beat or your lungs to breathe or your digestion, so your autonomic nerve system. So it's not just like the nerves into my arm, right? If I cut all the nerves into my arm doesn't work anymore. But if the nerve gets cut going to the heart, your heart doesn't work anymore either. Just like if the nerves are cut going to the stomach, your stomach will not function. So instead of a cut nerve, if there's some sort of misalignment that stretches or pinches the nerve, obviously it's going to affect how my arm works. If there's a pinched nerve, it could have pain, but it could also just affect the strength and the motion in my arm. If there's pressure on the nerve going to the heart, it's not like the heart would stop right away, but it's going to interfere with the heart's ability to function or to self-regulate. You think about like a heart test. If you go to the medical doctor, like a cardiologist, and they're going to do like a heart test, they're going to do a stress test. They're going to put your body under stress and you're going to see how your heart adapts to the stress. Well, the nerve system is what controls your heart's ability to adapt to the stress. Your nerve system is what controls its ability to increase in its heart rate or decreases in its heart rate. When you think about like that sympathetic nerve system, your upper neck, which is where the parasympathetic nerve system comes from, if that nerve system is stressed or damaged or interfered with, it can lower that nerve system's ability to go into that rest, that healing, that digestion, immune system building nerve system. You can get stuck in that sympathetic dominance because you have spinal misalignments. And so one of the best things that people will notice when they start to get adjusted is that their body is able to rest easier. And one of the biggest things that we'll notice is people will say that their sleeping has improved dramatically since they've started to get adjusted, because we're able to decrease that fight or flight response and increase that rest and that digest nerve system dominance, so the body is able to heal. It's also one of the reasons why your immune system functions so much better when you've been getting adjusted, or when your digestion is improving so much because you're getting adjusted, because we're able to balance those two nerve systems. So warning signs that you could be out of alignment are just, again, stresses. So if you have neck issues, back issues, headaches, if you have digestive issues, if you have poor quality of sleep, if you're stuck in that fight or flight mode, I mean, there's a number of different symptoms and signs that you are subluxated. Now, you might be already getting adjusted. That's even why you're watching this webinar, because you saw the advertisements in the office, or we talked about why, we should improve sleep. But you might know someone that has these symptoms, and you might give them some of the things in the webinar to help with, they may be improving their sleep with the routine stuff. But ultimately, if their nerve system is out of balance, their body is unable to self-regulate, and they might need to get in and to get their nerve system checked. And so if you have a spouse or a family member, or maybe your kids just haven't had their nerve system checked, I would say that's a high priority, because your health is determined with how your body heals and self-regulates, and your nerve system just controls that. Yes, better nutrition is important, eliminating sugars, exercising, eliminating toxins, taking supplements, all those things are awesome. But if your nerve system's out of balance, you're really just you're not able to utilize that stuff like you really could be. So I would say a good step is to either make sure you're on track with your adjustment frequency, or if you haven't been checked, make sure you're getting your nervous system evaluated to see if there's interference or subluxations in you or your family members. So I'm going to talk about the challenge. I really want you guys to think about trying this. So I'm going to give you a 7-day checklist. So did I do this morning? Check. Did I do this afternoon? Check. Did I do this evening? Check. So it's just a checklist, and it's a 7-day checklist. And I'm going to recommend try it for 7 days. Try it for 30 days. I really think that if you can really focus on just for the next 30 days, focus on sleep as a priority, I think that you will be mind blown on how much better you feel, how much better your energy is, how much better your mental acuity is, how much more you can get done in a day, how much your mood is improved, your fuse is improved if you're improving your sleep. So I'm going to be having some, I'm going to have that checklist available. I'll put it online and I'll have it in the office as well. But unplug 30 minutes before bed. So try to eliminate the phones. If you are going to do phones, do either the blue light glasses, which you can just order online, Amazon blue light glasses, or use the filter on your phone. Try to black out your room. So make your bedroom a sanctuary. Turn down the temperature in your bedroom. So, and then blackout curtains. And you can do really cheap blackout curtains. I mean, don't think you have to spend a ton of money. You can just go online and do some pretty cheap stuff. Try to stay consistent, plus or minus an hour of waking and going to bed. Try to eliminate caffeine 60 to 90 minutes after waking. I know that one's going to be tough. And then try to eliminate sugar or processed carbs or alcohol 2 hours before bed. Try to get at least 10 minutes of exercise, whether that's just walking. Really try to do morning sunlight. I don't have it listed on here. I guess we missed that, but morning sun, evening sun, and then do your supplements. Really try it. Give it a shot. It's a 30-day supply. Do your magnesium, do your sleep and mood. Try the Pure Path. I do the greens and the protein as a smoothie in the morning. That's one of the things I really like to do. And then just stay on your adjustment schedule. I really think it'd be a cool thing to focus on this over the next 7 to 30 days and really just see like how good could you feel? How many health issues could be resolved if you just got better quality sleep, especially in this time of year? I mean, stress levels are high. This is the cold and flu season. So focus on sleep to improve your immune system could be a really, really good idea. So go back, rewatch this. I think that everybody should challenge himself to try to do this specific, challenge. So let me know if you have any questions. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.